Hello everyone and welcome to Learn to Trade channel. My name is Kevin Tate. Today's lesson is on the continuation of the Cornelius series on the Nitro Pro Mini Cold brew dispenser. And this episode will be going over the regulator.
The next segment I want to talk about is the regulator that is located on the pump platform here. When you see the pump platform inside the cabinet, there's a line coming from the air compressor and the air tank, the air box in the back of the unit. That air line comes in, this is compressed air coming in at 60 to 80 psi from that pressure switch on the air box. That air pressure comes in and goes into this regulator. Now, how this regulator works, this is a precision regulator. The gauge that's on it is just your standard off-the-shelf gauge. These things can, be off a couple of pounds as far as the needle goes, but the regulator itself is very accurate. Now, how this regulator works is to adjust it, you pull the knob out and you turn the pressure and you turn it counterclockwise to lower the pressure. The setting that we send at the factory, we set this to about 28 to 30 psi from the factory, but this can be adjusted in the field at install. When you adjust this gas pressure, it's the amount of gas that's getting, the pressure that's getting injected through the sparger into the drink to get that foamy head. A good nitro drink has about a ½ head of foam after the 2-minute cascading in the cup. You'll get about a ½ inch of foam, and that's an ideal thing. Now this gauge, this can be off just a little bit, so don't try to get it so much by the needle on the gauge, but what the drink looks like. And that's how to adjust these. When you're done adjusting the regulator, simply just click the knob back in and the knob is locked in place. On the Nitro Pro Mini, there are 2 different voltages that are used in the unit. And it powers up the compressor, the condenser fan motor, and the agitator motor in the water bath. It also, inside the cabinet, which I'll show you later, is a box fan to circulate the air inside the cabinet. But all the other components, the water solenoid, the peristaltic pump, the dispense solenoids, the circuit board, all of those other components in there run on 24 volts DC. To get that 24 volts DC, located in the back of the unit on the side, is a power supply. This power supply has 115 volts AC coming in. So as soon as you plug in the unit, this power supply powers up. Out of the bottom is your 24 volts DC that's coming out. And this power supply is mounted in here, and like I said, it's powered up all the time, and it sends power on out to all the other components to be driven. Okay, in this segment, we're going to talk about the printed circuit board that's in this unit. There's only one. And first, to get access to it, after removing the front splash panel, you notice that the circuit board is located behind the splash panel. To remove this, there's just the one screw in the front, and then there's some wire harnesses along the back here that you would have to cut some zip ties. But then that circuit board can pull straight on out, and you can for servicing. So the printed circuit board, some things I want to point out about this. First of all, what is a healthy circuit board? If you look up in the unit on the circuit board, you're going to see there's an LED on here that if it's a green flashing LED, the board is good to go. It's healthy, it's working, it's functioning, it's powered up. So always look to see if you see the green LED blinking. That's a good thing. Now, this board, the power coming in, and then these are the output connectors that go to the different components that this board powers. Those components are the main water inlet solenoid in the back of the unit, It also powers up the peristaltic pump, and also it powers up the DC, the 24-volt DC solenoids on the pump platform itself. It does that also. The wire connections in the back, as far as troubleshooting and all of that, you may find a loose connection back here from the zip ties or pulling a little tight on the wires. So if you had to do some troubleshooting, you see the green light is flashing. It's a good board, but a component isn't running. Go to the back of the unit, undo the zip ties, and make sure that, unplug it there. Now, some things about the circuit board to recognize. You'll see on the board there are 4 dip switches. These dip switches and how this board works, you remember that the incoming water is metered at 1 ounce per second. And you also remember that the peristaltic pump, we can control the RPMs of the peristaltic pump to speed up or slow down, pump more concentrate or pump less concentrate. Now, these 4 dip switches, when you pick a dip switch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 7 to 1. So depending on which dip switch you flip up, whichever one you want to flip up there, we'll do the third one over from the right. That's a 5 to 1 ratio. When you flip that dip switch up, what the machine says, it says, I have a 1 ounce per second flow rate of water. I need to send a specific voltage to the peristaltic pump in order to get the certain RPMs to get the concentrate to mix at a 5 to 1 ratio with that fixed water flow. Now, once you do that, it will mix that exactly at 5 to 1 ratio. The water's fixed, and you've now fixed the RPM in the motor to pump the concentrate. You'll notice that there are 2 buttons on here. You can speed up the RPMs of the motor, and you can slow it down. So just a momentary click, 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 and you can bump up the RPMs of the motor, and what it's going to do is that the water stays the same, but now you're going to get a little bit thicker drink or a little bit stronger drink because you sped up the RPMs just a little bit. Not bumping it up to the 7 to 1, but you give it a little bit added RPMs, or you can lower it down. Slow the pump motor down. So these are adjustments. Now, a couple things about the circuit board is if the power goes out to the unit or to the building, whatever, when the power goes out, this board has capacitive memory. It will remember the settings, obviously, of the dip switch, but it'll remember any custom settings you did with the up and down. And it'll go right, when the power comes back, it'll go right back to those custom settings you made with these dip switches. But let's say you got these dip switches, somebody's been playing with them, it's way out in left field. What you do is you turn the dip switch off, all of them are off, and you turn whatever dip switch back on again, and that will erase any custom settings for the individual buttons. So all the dip switches off, turn the one back on again. If it's the 5 to 1, then that's what it is. And you'll go back to a straight 5 to 1, and then these don't apply. They've been erased. In this clip, we're going to show you how to remove the merchandiser in the front of the machine, and then also this access cover on the bottom here to get at the dispensing levers and switches. First of all, to take the merchandiser off, you just firmly put your hands on the top, pull forward, and lift up. You'll notice that there's 2 tabs in the underside, and these 2 tabs just drop down into slots in the top here. To take the graphics out, you can simply just slide and put back in again. A little snug, but you can put different graphics in it, and when you're done, the 2 tabs in the bottom, line them up with the notches in the back, and push forward, and you're done. Okay. Something else with this off here I want to show you is that it locks in these 2 clips and the 2 pins. And this whole surface here is an LED light. It's called a light merchandiser, a light engine, but it's all illuminated once, so you don't get any hot spots in the graphics. Now, with this cover off, you got your 2 dispensing levers. How do you get at these dispensing levers? This is an assembly right here. Underneath is a little micro switch, a spring, and as you pull the lever forward, you're just activating a little rubber booted switch on the micro switch. How to get at that, to service it and troubleshoot it? First of all, you unthread the handles, set those aside, and then you take the collars off. The nuts, and then get a hold of the lip, and this just pulls out. Pulls out and lifts up, and it's just, again, it's two clips, two pins that hold this in place. And then with that, now you can get access to the side to see the wiring and the dispensing of the valve assembly.
On a daily basis, using a clean, damp cloth, clean the unit's external cabinet surfaces and splash areas, including the inside door gasket. Next, remove the drip tray and cup rest. Now remove each of the two dispense nozzles by rotating 90 degrees and then pulling straight downward. Now remove the two mixing chambers located inside the unit's cabinet by pulling them straight forward. Wash all the removed parts using a mild dish soap solution and then rinse. Reinstall the mixing chambers and nozzles. Important: do not wash nozzles or mixing chambers in a dishwasher. This will distort the plastic and damage the O-rings. The unit's dispensing system is recommended to be cleaned on an ongoing weekly basis using a cold brew equipment cleaner such as Clearly Cold by Ernix. Follow the proper mixing instruction located on the package label. Local codes may require more frequency. First, start by disconnecting the product output connector from the box of concentrate by turning the black threaded connector counterclockwise and pulling away. Next, connect the white cleaning screw adapter to the black output connector of the tube assembly by inserting and using a clockwise rotation until it is fully engaged. Now remove the box of product from the unit and temporarily store in a refrigerated space. Using a clean and empty food-grade container, prepare approximately 1/2 gallon of warm water. Place the container inside the unit cabinet and place the tube assembly with the white adapter into the container so that it stays at the bottom. On the inside door panel, set the dispense motor switch to the clean mode. Now place a container underneath the dispense nozzles and dispense 1/4 gallon of water from each dispense tap handle to flush out coffee product. Then remove the container from inside the unit's cabinet and dispose of the remaining water. After preparing 1 gallon of Clearly Cold cleaning solution per the label instructions, submerge the bib adapter into the container and place inside the cabinet and close the door. Now place the container underneath the dispense nozzles and dispense 1/4 gallon of cleaner from side of the unit by pulling the dispense tap handle, and then allow the cleaner to soak in the system for 5 minutes. 5 minutes later. After the 5 minutes has elapsed, again dispense 1/4 gallon of cleaner from each of the dispense tap handles. Then remove the container from inside the unit's cabinet and dispose of the remaining cleaner. After cleaning the system, it is now ready to be sanitized. It is recommended to use a product such as K5 sanitizer or equivalent. Using a clean food-grade container, follow the manufacturer's instructions to prepare 1 gallon of sanitizing solution at 330 parts per million of available chlorine. Submerge the bib adapter into the container of sanitizer and place inside the cabinet and close the door. Now place a second container underneath the dispense nozzles and dispense 1/4 gallon of sanitizer from each dispense tap handle and allow the sanitizer to soak in the system for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, open each of the dispense tap handles separately and again pour 1/4 gallon of sanitizer from each. Now remove the white cleaning screw adapter from the black product output connector by rotating counterclockwise. Then remove the container with remaining sanitizer and save it for sanitizing the nozzles and mixing chambers. Now place the motor dispense switch located on the inside panel of the door to the on position. Remove both the left and right nozzles, along with both mixing chambers, and place in the container of remaining sanitizer and allow parts to soak for 2 minutes. Afterwards, reassemble parts onto the unit. Important: do not soak nozzles and mixing chambers in sanitizer longer than 2 minutes. This will cause damage to the plastic and the O-rings. To begin pouring cold brew coffee again, retrieve the removed box of product from the refrigerated space. Connect the tube assembly bib connector to the concentrate bag mating connector using a clockwise rotation until fully seated. Now position the bib box and tube assembly as shown. Now that the unit system has been properly cleaned and sanitized, first pull the left dispense tap handle and pour 16 ounces of product. Then pull the right dispense tap handle and pour 8 ounces of product to prime the system with cold brew coffee.
And thank you everyone for joining me on this series on the Cornelius-Nitro Pro Mini Full Service Training. This has completed this series of training on the Nitro Pro. I hope this is helpful as far as servicing and maintenance on the Nitro Pro. Take care and stay well.